Fred. My name is Josh Shell, host of the Let's Start a Cult podcast. The only podcast that doesn't demand mass suicide from their listener. Every single other podcast does so. So just know that you're safe here. Now, with that crazy claim out of the way, let me introduce to you my guests this episode. You may know them from the amazingly popular show, The Dumb Found Dead. You may know them as John Froome and his Prophet, or you may simply know them from their terrible puns. Please welcome back from Excommunication, John and Patrick. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Oh my God, what kind of intro was that, Josh? I'm kind of nervous of what's in store for the next how many minutes or hours we're going to do this.
Days.
Well,
last time I had you guys on, I managed to convince John that he was in fact John Froome, which, as we all know, is a military Jesus figure in the South Pacific Islands, and that he needed to get back to his people. So, John, I have to ask, have you made it back to the islands yet?
not yet because we still have quarantine going on, but I do have intentions of going to the Pacific sometime this year. So my people, I shall return.
Hey, he's coming. He's coming.
That's what she said.
Blame it on COVID, huh?
I'm blaming it on COVID because whatever.
Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
true.
Amazon be like, oh, sorry, due to COVID, your package is late.
Well, due to COVID, I will not be returning to my people yet.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're here as well, Patrick. I'll need both of you for this one. Because today, I need to discuss John Froome's nemesis and the reason for John Froome's entire existence. In today's episode of the Let's Start a Cult podcast, we will be telling the story of a young boy from an impoverished Austrian family who managed to crawl his way to the top of an organization that would later terrorize the entire European continent and the world. This is the first part in a two-part series of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party.
Ooh,
oh, shit.
I'm in.
Damn. Damn. Ladies and gentlemen, if we get canceled for this episode, I blame Josh Shell completely.
I'm taking you guys down with me. This is the mass suicide. Our careers.
Oh, my God.
Now, you might be questioning why I'm doing an episode on Hitler, because he wasn't, by definition, a cult leader. However, I would argue that he had a similar rise to power, much like a cult leader, ran the party much like a cult leader, and I believe looking at the Nazi Party as a cult rather than a political party allows us to view it in a different lens and maybe see something new or learn something new, you know? Do you guys agree, or am I just being a crazy podcast dictator?
I'm trying to mentally prepare myself.
I definitely think, yeah, why isn't it considered a cult? Because it was definitely
pretty close.
It was a culty type of movement.
Exactly. He fits like all the descriptions of being a cult leader. Charismatic.
Maybe it's too big. It was too big.
Okay. So it was too popular. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Cult's more,
It was too mainstream. Yeah.
Yeah, it was too mainstream. It wasn't underground enough.
Damn, so he was an Adolf hipster?
Shit. Damn. It's coming out already.
Damn, I'm sorry. I'm always ready.
Yeah, I think because it's seen as more of a political party, people just don't look to see it as anything else. But I could argue it was definitely a cult. And I'm here to prove that to everyone in this part one. Well, not in part one. Part two, we'll prove more of it. But do you guys want to learn more, or do you guys already know everything about Hitler?
No, I love to learn more, but I do have a question for you, Josh.
Sure, yeah.
Did you specifically pick two brown people to do a story about Adolf Hitler knowing damn well he doesn't like us?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah.
My main connection was John Froome because he was a military leader in World War II, which fought against Hitler. So I that's why I wanted to have you guys on. Race did not come into.
Good answer.
You're trying to mass suicide my career. All right, let's jump into it. Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889, in a small Austrian border town called Brana am Inn. Both of his parents came from humble beginnings. His father, Alois, was the illegitimate son of a housemaid and worked as a state customs official. Clara Poles, something like that. Adolf's mother was Alois's third wife, and this marriage produced a total of 5 children: Gustav, Ida, Otto, Adolf, Edmund, and Paula. Unfortunately, only 2 of them would make it into adulthood. Gustav and Ida contracted diphtheria in December 1887 and died within weeks of each other. which is super unfortunate because diphtheria was like, it only came around in 84, I think. So 3 years and they got it and died from it. On the other hand, Otto passed away soon after his birth, while Edmund only lived 6 years. So pretty terrible upbringing, having 4 of your siblings pass away, or 4 of your siblings pass away like right away. Gotta suck.
How do we know it wasn't him? He was like,
man,
only me.
Oh, shit.
I can be the only child.
It's 6 minutes into the damn recording and you got conspiracy theories already, bro?
You're derailing this whole script. We got to go off on that now. It could have been. God damn.
And we're just going to fly by that he was born on 4/22?
That's true. That's true. Did Hitler love weed?
Oh.
He had to be on something to do something like that.
Yeah, he was on a lot of drugs.
Damn it, I had a joke, but I'm not going to do it.
Throw it out. I'll cut it out if it's too terrible.
No, it's terrible. It's too terrible.
All right. We'll cut all of this out.
The whole episode's chalk.
Just redacted the whole thing. Yeah. I'm in 2 paragraphs in. This is like a 10-page thing. Despite this string of tragedies and their impoverished circumstances, the family made do. In 1876, they changed their last name to Hitler, which was the Christian name of the man who married Aloise's mother, Marianne, 5 years after his birth. He had carried her maiden name, Schicklgruber, all his life, but eventually managed to establish his claim to her husband's surname. And I think it's kind of crazy and funny how close we were to having a racist tyrant named Adolf Schicklgruber, which doesn't quite strike the evilness that I think he was going for. When Adolf was 6, his father retired from government service and moved the family to Linz, the capital city of Upper Austria. Unable to stay idle, he bought and sold farms, raising beets and spending his free time drinking in local inns. The young Adolf admired his father's work ethic. However, the two often didn't see eye to eye. Alois was an authoritarian and an overbearing husband, as well as an aggressive and a violent father. His wife was the exact opposite. Clara was reportedly quiet and solemn, working throughout the day to keep the home in top shape to please her husband. She considered Adolf her favorite child, and he in turn doted on his mother. This relationship was far from healthy, though. According to the American historian and scholar Louis L. Snyder, quote, "Despite her love, however, he developed into a discontented and resentful child. Psychologically, she unconsciously made him, and through him, the world would pay for her unhappiness with her husband. Adolf feared his strict father, a hard and difficult man who set pattern for the youngster's own brutal view of life. There was a deep tension between 2 unbending wills. It is probable that Hitler's later fierce hatreds came in part from his hostility to his father. He learned early in life that the right was always on the side of the stronger one." End quote. So, bit of a public service announcement. Don't be hostile towards your kids. Or
They become Adolf Hitler.
Adolf Schicklgruber or whatever.
Sounds like a sausage.
Nah,
It does.
I was going to say, it sounds like the fucking villain from Phineas and Ferb. The
Doofenshmirtz.
Adolf Doofenshmirtz. Doofenshmirtz Incorporated.
Oh,
Perry the Platypus.
That was a great impression. Holy shit.
you watch too much Perry the Platypus, bro.
Hey, come on, man. I got Disney Plus now, all right? Chill.
Oh, damn. Flexing on us with that Disney Plus, too.
I know, right?
Yeah, right?
As a child, Adolf enjoyed playing games that involved fighting and reenacting battle scenes from the Boer War. He mirrored his father's authoritarian nature and loved to give orders, playing the role of a commando responsible for rescuing South African farmers from English concentration camps. So that's
Ironic.
like a noble cause, yeah. And ironic, yes.
Yeah.
Damn.
Jesus Christ.
His favorite game, however, reportedly involves shooting a rat with an air gun. I mean, I get it,
Okay.
rats are kind of gross, but
Not enough to shoot it.
yeah, as a child, too.
Damn, they got Nerf guns back in, what, the 19 whatever? How old is he then?
Well, air guns are like BB guns, I think. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Dang.
He's got a shot on him if he could hit a rat.
that's true.
For real.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know. That's the only thing I could find on it. So I don't know if he was good at it or if he just really wanted to do it and couldn't hit them. I'm not sure. Despite a stellar academic performance in primary school, Adolf found himself increasingly disenchanted with his time in secondary school. He had been enrolled in Realschule, which refers to an educational institution with a focus on science and technology. These subjects weren't Adolf's forte, though, and it didn't take long for his grades to drop significantly. And I don't blame him. Mine would have plummeted if I was just doing science and math.
Yeah, for sure.
More of an arts degree guy.
More of a lunch guy, so my best subject.
That's fair. I don't know where to go. In addition to his academics, Adolf's social skills deteriorated as well. His classmates refused to accept him as one of their leaders, and he despised his teachers, whom he believed only aimed to stuff children's brains with facts and information rather than actually teaching them. And goddamn, does that not sound like every anti-science blogger on the internet? Just trying to stuff my kids' heads with facts and shit.
He sounds like Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
True, the young Sheldon or whatever that dumb spinoff was. For their part, Adolf's teachers also disliked him. One of them, Dr. Edward Humer, later recalled the schoolboy as having definite talent but lacking self-discipline, with a cantankerous and lazy personality who demanded absolute subservience from his fellow pupils. So a little bit of foreshadowing there, I think. Soon after his father's death in 1903, Adolf dropped out of secondary school and began pursuing his dream of becoming an artist. However, his plans were interrupted in 1907 when his mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. Clara underwent an operation to remove the tumor in her chest. However, it was already too late. With the cancer slowly spreading throughout her body, she became bedridden, and Adolf took to sleeping in an adjacent bedroom so that he could be summoned anytime she needed him. His mother's disease didn't derail his plans, though. In autumn of 1907, Adolf traveled to Vienna, where he was joined by one of his friends, a man named Augustus, who intended to study viola at the city's Academy of Music. On the other hand, Adolf sent a portfolio to the Academy of Fine Arts, but his drawings were found to be unsatisfactory and his application was turned down. This rejection stung even more when he found out that August had scored a place at the Academy of Music. So, I know it's a meme that Adolf gets rejected and turns into a tyrant, but that's not 100% true, as we'll see. Like, he gets rejected the first time and is kind of just like, that was shitty, but whatever. He moved on with his life. He actually gets rejected twice, which we'll talk about the second time later. Upon hearing that his mother was close to death, Adolf rushed home to spend her final days by her side. Clara was in great pain during this time, and while she refused to complain, every grimace that crossed her face devastated her son. To ease her condition, she was given a shot of morphine from time to time, which Adolf was extremely grateful. The cancer was too much for her frail 48-year-old body, though, and on December 21st, 1907, Clara passed away. Her death devastated Adolf, who wrote that, quote, "It was the conclusion of a long and painful illness, which from the beginning left little hope of recovery. Yet it was a dreadful blow, particularly for me. I had honored my father, but my mother I had loved." End quote. From then on, he reportedly carried a photograph of his mother wherever he went. I believe his mother's passing actually played a huge part in who Adolf became, because like she was kind of his connection to humanity. Like, she was only the one he truly loved. And when she passed away, I think that was the last thing that was grounding him to that. So
he sounded like he got this associated with himself.
Yeah. And I think that is because like once his mother was gone, he didn't really have anyone else, right? He had August or August or whatever his name is, but he's too busy playing the viola or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. And it's a constant reminder that he didn't make it in.
Exactly. He's like, can you please stop practicing?
When Weird Flex turned into a world war.
I get it. You can hit the high notes. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
I will kill you. Oh, God.
I'm going to take over the world.
I will destroy all the violas so that no one in the future...
That's what the whole war was about. That was what the whole war was about. He didn't care about the people. He just wanted all the violas gone.
It just happened that the people he killed had the violas.
Violas.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wild conspiracy again. Number 2 from Patrick.
This has a chance to go really, really bad and a really bad slippery slope with us two around here.
I cannot wait because I need those clicks. After Clara's death, Adolf returned to Vienna, where he lived with August. Despite the hustle and bustle of the cosmopolitan city, he found himself isolated from the rest of his peers. He was completely indifferent towards them, ignoring even the women who expressed an interest in him. Feeling lonely and dejected, Adolf threw himself into books, consuming a wide variety of literature that would eventually form the basis of ideology that would later make him infamous. So books are bad. That's what I took.
Yeah, what I'm getting from it.
Don't read. Only consume podcasts.
There you go.
He also began painting and drawing pen and ink copies of Vienna's tourist sites on cards, which he would then sell in taverns with an acquaintance named Reinhold Hanisch, something like that.
Reinhold Honeyshit? Is that what I heard?
Close enough.
Like, I sell ham and antiquities. That's going to be my new Twitter name, Reinhold Honeyshit.
And just tweeting about how you're selling those things.
Yeah.
I have a rare antique here for you. Only $1,200. Buy it today. In September 1908, Adolf applied once again to the Academy of Fine Arts, where he was told that he was better suited to architecture. Oof. I don't know if that's a burn. However, his lack of school certificates made him ineligible for admission, which enraged him to no end. This anger spurred him to leave the flat that he had been sharing with August, although with little money and no friends to turn to, he effectively became homeless. So Patrick, I think you're onto something. He was like, I can't stand being around your viola anymore. I'd rather be homeless.
It's all August's fault.
I blame August.
Yeah.
August's very own messed us up.
We need to change the month's name to Schickelgruber or something. I don't know. Later, August would say, quote, choking with his catalog of hates, he would pour his fury over everything, against mankind in general, who did not understand him, who did not appreciate him, and whom he was persecuted and cheated. I had the impression that Adolf Hitler became unbalanced. End quote.
Could you imagine when Hitler was like doing his thing and taking over the world and whatever, and August sitting there like, I fucking knew it. Staying at home like, I knew it. I knew that dude was up to no good. Yeah.
I wrote a song about it. Here, listen. Reaches for his viola, which is no longer there because Hitler took them all.
Took it away. Oh.
But he still just sends Hitler postcards saying, fuck you, I still made it.
I still made it to art school. It's got to be one of those postcards with the fucking music on it, too.
When you open it, and it's a viola.
He's taking over half the world, and he's just like, God damn it, August. Oh, shit. The summer of 1909 saw Adolf Hitler living on the streets of Vienna. Fortunately, he was able to find rooms at a charity hostel for men by the time winter rolled around. That year, he also received call-up papers to serve in the Austro-Hungarian army. But out of hatred for his native country, he ignored them. So he's turned true German for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why, but he's just like, yeah, fuck him. I don't care. It was during his time.
August.
August is in Germany.
I was like, I'm not going to join a fucking army because of August.
Or Vienna, sorry. It was during his time in Vienna that Adolf first became interested in politics. He was a fervent supporter of Karl Lueger, the leader of the Christian Social Party, and the city mayor at the time. Later, he would claim that his anti-Semitic views were influenced and developed by Karl's sentiments, saying that he was made to acknowledge the vast difference between regular citizens and those who belonged to the Jewish race. He was of the opinion that the latter was dirty, unclean, and bore the marks of moral stain on their identity. But thank you, Karl, for giving this angry young male his anti-Semitic views.
Fucking Karl!
Karl! In 1913, he relocated to Munich, in the German state of Bavaria. When World War I broke out, he successfully petitioned the king to allow him to volunteer in reserve infantry regiment, despite his Austrian citizenship. This role meant that although he was far from the front lines, he was still present at several significant conflicts, including in the Battle of the Somme, where he was wounded in the leg. In 1918, he was also temporarily blinded by a gas attack launched by the British during the Battle of Ypres, which reportedly reduced his regiment from 3,600 men to just 611. Like all those who survived this particular battle, Adolf was promoted to the rank of Lance Corporal. I don't know what any of those titles mean, sorry. John, I'm sure you do, but...
Yeah, that's a Marine rank over here, so those are the tough guys. I'm in the Air Force, so I just sit on a desk. Okay.
You just drone strike people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, you don't have to see them. It was just like you drink your coffee, dead.
Yeah.
I do not wish to shit on the military.
Don't worry, they shitted on me so many times already.
Okay, well, there we go. I just don't want them to point their guns at Canada. You know what I'm saying? We love you guys. Focus on Mexico. We're fine up here. Adolf's service in World War I earned him the Iron Cross First Class and the Black Wound Badge, both of which indicated that Germany was acknowledging the bravery that he exhibited on the battlefield. By all accounts, Adolf enjoyed his time in the army. He relished the feeling of being part of a group that was fighting side by side for a common goal. While his fellow soldiers perceived him as odd and peculiar, his higher-ups were impressed by his willingness to take on dangerous missions, even if it put his life at great risk. So they're just like, they just hand him a gun and say, yeah, go in there. And yeah, you're good. Thumbs up.
I like.
How many impressions can we get out of this episode?
That's not very. Is that German, bro?
Nah.
That sounds like Borat.
Yeah, I don't know where Borat's from, but
Very
Kazakhstan
nice.
or something?
Yes, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan? Yeah,
Close
I think
enough.
it's Kazakhstan.
Yeah, white European, you know. However, a soldier from his regiment named Hans Mend would later remember him as an isolated man who often sat in silence in a corner. This would be punctuated by a sudden outburst wherein Adolf vehemently attacked Jews and Marxists, whom he believed to be undermining Germany's war effort. While recuperating from the loss of his vision in a hospital northeast of Berlin, he received news of the armistice, followed by information that Germany had officially declared its defeat. Similar to many other Germans, he attributed this defeat to traitors, particularly Jews, whom he believed had been inefficiently patriotic and thus were unable to bring the country to victory. But do you guys know who loves all people and will lead you to victory?
Jesus.
I was hoping to say John Froome, but
Aw, shit.
but no, actually, the lovely products and services that support this show. That's my.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What a segue.
dang.
It's I want my ads to have better lead-ins, but I talk about such terrible topics. It's impossible, especially when you're talking about Hitler hating the Jews. But you got to shove that in there.
Yeah, did not see that coming.
Please buy the services, products, so that they don't hate me.
Oh,
Yeah,
your ads must love you.
they haven't complained yet. Although we'll see after the Nazi episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Today's episode is presented by SkinStore. For over 20 years, the SkinStore has been the #1 destination for premium skincare, hair care, and beauty products. With over 8,000 different products from 300 different brands, the SkinStore has you covered for all your hair, cosmetic, supplements, and of course, skincare needs. Find your favorite brands like Ulta MD, New Face, Olaplex, and more all in one place with gifts with every purchase. Right now, the SkinStore is offering our listeners 20% off your next purchase by using the code POD. That's code POD for 20% off your next purchase at skinstore.com/pod.list. SkinStore. Have the confidence to tackle the day ahead. Exclusions apply.
How very much I've loved you. How very much I've tried my best to give you the good life.
Hello, and welcome to the jury room, where we dissect some of the most heinous, some of the most unthinkable, and some of the most monstrous crimes to ever scar the earth. From cannibalistic serial killers to decades-old unsolved mysteries, these stories are sinister enough to keep you up at night. Are you looking for a miracle? Join us on the jury room when we dive into Jim Jones and the Jonestown Massacre that left over 900 Americans dead in a jungle in South America. Why did these people follow Jones? Could something like this, something this heinous, this grotesque, this tragic, ever happen to us? Find out on March 28th, 2021. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a review. Turn on all your notifications to know what's happening with the jury room. Remember, stay safe, and thanks for listening.
If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace.
After the war, Adolf remained attached to the German army, due to the fact that he had no prospects in the civilian world. With neither an education nor a career, life would have been extremely difficult for him had he left the military. In 1918, he joined the fledgling German Workers' Party, which was an organization that aimed to promote the interests of the proletariat while furthering German nationalism. Their work led him to believe that socialism and communism were both part of a larger Jewish conspiracy, an idea that was exacerbated by the fact that the majority of the country's socialist leaders at the time were Jewish, including Victor Adler, Kurt Eisner, Rosa Luxemburg, and Eugene Levine. More than that, though, the 1917 October Revolution in Russia was also led by Jews such as Leon Trotsky and George Zinoviev. And I find this fascinating because I hear a lot of people who oppose socialism online saying things like, oh, Hitler and the Nazis were socialists, which is very clearly false. They hated socialism.
The opposite.
Well, not quite the opposite, but like they blamed the socialists for all their issues, basically, and as well as the Jewish capitalists of the society. So they weren't capitalists and they weren't socialists. It's wild that a lot of right-wingers say that Nazis were socialists to cast away all socialism. As a Canadian with a lot of socialist political parties, like it's not all bad. Like there's a lot of good. The stimulus checks were nice to some people I know. Free healthcare. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
Wait, going back to the stimulus check.
Yeah.
I forgot I had a question. Did you guys really get $2,000 a month?
I'm not 100% sure because I didn't get it, but I think it was something like that. It was like, $1,000 each every other week or something like that, I think.
Holy cow.
It's done now.
Yeah.
But I think it might be rebranded as something else because we're still locked down here. So I'm not 100% sure. But
we got 1,200 one time.
Yeah.
We got 1,200 one time, and then we got another 600 towards the end of the year, which,
Like, you can survive.
Made me survive for the 6-8 months that we've been locked down.
They're like, if you don't die from corona, you'll die from starvation or homelessness.
We got you covered.
Whatever.
Down as corona.
It's either that, go to the street, go beg, play a viola or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and you guys were like, well, at the very least, can you pay us more? And they're like, nah, I don't think so.
Right?
I forgot where I heard it from, but someone told me that Canada is giving out $2,000 a month, and I was like, what?
Yeah. It was around that for, I want to say 6 or 8 months. And I'm not sure if they rebranded it as something else. I'm not 100% sure, but it was people who were unemployed during that time. So
yeah,
it was not me, sadly. Well, not sadly, I guess. But
yeah.
All of these coincidences led Adolf to believe that the Jews were responsible for the downfall of Europe's superpowers. And he constantly espoused this idea to members of the German Workers' Party. With his skilled orator, fiery speech, and innate charisma, he quickly climbed the ranks of the organization. To quote Spartacus Educational, which that's quite the name, like title.
Yeah, right.
Spartacus.
Spartacus Educational. Quote, Adolf Hitler, who had for years been ignored when he made political speeches, now had a captive audience. The political climate had also changed. Germany was a defeated and disillusioned country. End quote. After their resounding defeat in the First World War, Germany had been forced to give away 13% of its territory, which meant that over 6 million of its population, as well as a large percentage of raw materials, was lost. The country was also made to financially compensate the Allied nations, which resulted in 38% of its national wealth being given away. 1920, Adolf left the army and began working for the German Workers' Party full-time. He was put in charge of its propaganda efforts, which resulted in the organization being renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or the Nazi Party for short. Got the name.
Nice.
He was also responsible for the adoption of the ancient symbol of the Hakenkreuz, I think that's how you pronounce it, or the hooked cross as its emblem. This would later become known as the swastika, the very same insignia that will forever be associated with the atrocities that Adolf Hitler and the Nazis would commit. And I mean, as far as a marketing perspective goes, he's kind of killing it. He's got a hip new name and a new symbol.
Look at that hit name. Killing it. Jesus Christ.
Crazy.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
We're proud of you, Josh. Welcome to the dark side.
If we go down, we go down together.
Yeah, that's right.
Adolf enjoyed his role in the flourishing Nazi Party. His 1925 autobiographical manifesto, Mein Kampf, he wrote that, quote, "I started out with the greatest enthusiasm and love. For all at once, I was offered an opportunity of speaking before a larger audience. And the thing that I had always presumed from pure feeling without knowing it was now corroborated. I could speak, and I could boast of some success. In the course of my lectures, I led many hundreds, indeed thousands of comrades back to their people of the fatherland." End quote. He is not a very, I mean, it's obviously translated from German, but it's, the sentence structure is very poor. By the end of 1921, Adolf Hitler had become the de facto leader of the Nazi Party. His speeches attracted former army officers, most of whom were disgruntled and dissatisfied with how Germany had been treated in the aftermath of World War I. Among them was a man named Ernst Röhm, an army captain and a senior member of the Bavarian Free Corps for Border Patrol East. In awe of Adolf, he recruited others to join the Strong Arms Squad, which officially became known as the no, we're not going to pronounce that one. The SA.
Yeah, that one.
Strombroni. Stromabatelong.
Stromboli.
Stromboli, or the SA.
There you go.
Ernst didn't know it at the time, but the SA would be instrumental in Adolf Hitler's rise to power and all that followed afterward. And that is it for part one of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party.
It's just getting good.
It is just getting good. Stay tuned for part two. The Reckoning. I know.
You're starting to sound like a TikToker there.
I am on TikTok. I have only one clip. So, just sum it all up, we saw an abused boy lose many of his family members, get rejected from his passion of arts, fight in World War I, and become
Fucking
a radicalized... Fucking August. And become a radicalized member of the Nazi Party. In part two, we will discuss how the Nazi Party functioned, its ideologies, and its downfall. Or so-called downfall. Now, does either John Froome or his prophet have anything to say about what we've talked about today? Any good puns you want to get in?
No, but can we start a hashtag blame August for the episode? Yeah.
People that never listen to the podcast, like if we just start it randomly, they'll be like, what the fuck did August do with World War II? Like,
well, tune in and you'll find out.
Why did the month of August cause Hitler? So confused, but it'll be worth it. Down.
That's funny. That's crazy. Damn, he had a rough childhood.
Yeah. And I don't say all this, like, I don't tell you all this to make you feel bad for him, because obviously we know 2020, he's a shitty guy. But it goes to show you that, like, a lot of people are a product of their environment, and he was obviously very clearly a product of his. You know what I mean?
He didn't just wake up one day and was like,
I'm gonna fuck shit up. Yeah. It's like, it's like, damn, I'm gonna fuck shit up today.
Yeah, it gives us some perspective of, like, anyone can become this if the conditions are right and they're given the right opportunities. Yeah. Anyone can do terrible things, which is scary if you really think about it, but a good warning for normal people, I guess.
It is a good warning. And I think that's like a very important. I know you had a guest host before that, and you guys talk about how important mental health is, and just like, hey, we don't know the next person that woke up like Hitler one day and had a friend like August could be the next dictator, you know?
Yeah,
So it's just like, I just feel like if you go through a lot of, you know, traumatic events in your life, and I think it's best that you seek help from someone professional that can help you cope with that instead of, you know, taking over the world and do something stupid.
Yeah. Do art, but
Too hard.
Do art, yeah.
as a distressor. Don't use it. Don't bet your whole life on it.
Oh, no.
I mean, just
I'm kidding.
just
I'm
stay
kidding,
away.
obviously.
Just stay away from violas and in general. I just feel like that has the weight, like it has a recipe for disaster. Just
Yeah,
waiting
what
to
is-
happen.
What is a viola? I think I should maybe end the podcast like instead of the usual outro. Maybe I'll play a nice viola song if I can find one.
Somewhere in hell, Hitler's like, August!
He's rising from the grave just to unsubscribe from my podcast. Oh wait, that
Oh,
implies that he was
viola?
subscribed to my podcast. I don't like that.
9!
Yeah, a viola is just a bigger violin.
Oh, damn. I was thinking it was a smaller one.
It's a bigger violin.
That's what I thought too. It sounded way more dainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I play a viola.
So it's a
It's
worse
like-
violin.
It's a louder.
It's a
louder violin.
Not quite a cello, not quite a
No.
violin.
Yeah.
I feel violated.
Oh, there we go. That's the perfect
Yes!
thing to end off on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Patrick and John, please tell the people at home about the Dumbfound Dead and where they can find you.
Patrick, you want to take this one or you want me to do it like usual?
You got it, bro. You've been doing
All
it.
right. I got you, man. We are John and Patrick. We are from the Dumbfound Dead podcast. We are two good brothers, not really related. We talk about some of the funniest and the craziest way people die. You know, that's so strange and borderline comical that it'll leave you dumbfounded. You can find us wherever you find your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever. But to make things easier for you, we have a website, thedumbfounddeadpod.com.
Woo.
And subscribe on our YouTube channel as well.
Oh.
Ooh.
And-
Oh.
I just want to say thank you to Josh, for having us back. a
Oh,
second
no
time.
problem, guys. You
For a
got
two-parter too. I'm like, damn, okay. So this
Back
counts
to
as
back.
3 episodes. Exactly.
It does. It does. You guys are my month of March. That's what's going on.
Yeah, well, beware the Ides of March.
If you're loving the podcast, be sure to give us a review and tell your friends about it. If you don't want to wait 2 weeks for the next episode, be sure to go to our Buy Me a Coffee page and become a member for episodes a week earlier, as well as ad-free episodes. If you want to keep up to date with the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @lets_cult. You can follow our Facebook page at facebook.com/letstartacultpod, or you can go to letstartacultpodcast.com and sign up for our newsletter. Thank you, Fred, for listening, and thank you, John and Patrick, for coming on today. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Later, guys.